everyone, it's Miss Elaine from the Firehouse Art Center, and I am back with another class for you, another virtual art class. And this week is our Bugs and Butterflies week, and today we are going to be drawing a very cute bug that is on a flower that you can see through a magnifying glass. So we're putting the magnifying glass on the bug so that we can kind of look at some of the body parts for the bug as we're drawing. And we can also talk about magnification. So we're adding a little bit of science to this lesson along with the art. Today is a drawing lesson. So we usually do drawing and or painting on Tuesdays, and then we'll do like a multimedia class for Thursday. And Thursday's class I am super excited for as well, because we are going to be doing a sun catcher butterfly that is going to be beautiful. So the way that we're going to do it is just like stained glass. So we're going to learn a little bit about the actual stained glass and how people can make stained glass. But we're going to make our own version with black glue and see-through paper, so vellum works. I know that was a question that somebody had. But also we are going to be using, if you have it, you can use like a plastic food container, or you can use just a clear file folder. What you do is you're going to put the drawing, you're going to make a drawing of a butterfly. You're going to put the clear plastic over top. You're going to trace the lines with the black glue. And then you're going to fill in the colors, which is going to be awesome because it's going to be the colors of the wings with permanent markers. So after that, you're going to take the plastic off. You can keep the drawing. And then what you can do is you can either cut the butterfly out, but it's going to be a clear sun catcher or stained glass artwork that you can actually put in the window and it'll look lovely. So that is our class for Thursday, and we are going to first do this class for today. So as far as just to kind of talk about our science portion of it, this is our bug, and we are going to be looking at this while we draw our own insect. And we're going to try and keep in with the whole anatomy of the bug, the insect, by doing it in three portions. So there's the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. So much like you, the bug will have a head. The thorax is kind of like their chest area, and the chest area is where all of the legs come out of. So you'll actually see, even though it looks like the bottom legs come out of the abdomen, it's all coming out of the thorax. And then the abdomen is kind of where his belly is. So that is the anatomy of the bug. There are also different other body parts that are labeled. The antenna are up here, so we're going to put in antenna. And if you want to get really super detailed, you can put in the mandibles, which are like the little pincers that are on the mouth. And then there are labels for his leg as well. So there's the femur and the tibia, which are actually also names for bones in a human's body, and then the tarsus, which is actually like the tarsals for your fingers. So this is the bug's anatomy, and we're going to be looking at this while we draw our bugs. So I am going to turn the screen down. Oh, but before we go on with that, so this guy is actually being seen through a magnifying glass. And I wanted to talk a little bit about magnifying as well. So magnification is also something that we're going to talk about. So obviously, if we were going to be looking at this bug in real life, it would be really tiny. But since we've got a magnifying glass on it, you can actually see all the body parts, which is where this comes into play. But a magnifying glass is a lens that through which can be used to make things appear bigger, so you can see them better, which is why we needed to look at the bug through that. And the magnifying glass consists of a piece of convex shaped glass or plastic. It is to be held at the right distance between the eye and the object, for the object to be in focus. So the magnifying glass usually comes with a handle, and that is actually the thing that's right here. So the handle is going to be going towards the corner of the page, and you know, magnifying lenses are actually used in other kinds of things, such as telescopes and binoculars, and also eyeglasses like the ones I'm using right now also use lenses to help people see better. So we're going to be using a magnifying glass to help us see our bug. And I'm going to turn the screen down so we can get started. Okay. So there is our bug right now on top of his flower. I am going to move some of this stuff. I still have my aluminum foil from our last project, which is our floral paperweight, which is actually downstairs. I baked it and it looks awesome, and I can't wait to paint it. So I'm going to actually paint it later on today. So hopefully you guys have gotten a chance to paint your flower paperweight from last week's Plants and Trees week. And so this is going to go here. You guys see that, and you see the bug. And this is my page right here. So first thing that we're going to do is, I'm going to move this to the side. We don't need to see that just yet. First thing we're going to do, I'm just trying to figure out a good way to get everything on the screen. So I'm at home again. So sometimes when I do this at the firehouse, it's awesome because I have a huge table. But this one, I have a really small table. Okay, I think that looks good. So this is what we're going to draw first. We're going to start first with our magnifying glass. Now the magnifying glass is a lens that is in a circle with a handle. Okay, so we're actually going to draw that right here, and then we're going to put the circle in kind of going towards the middle of the page. Now, if you have something that you can trace, you know, you can definitely get it right now. And while you are grabbing maybe a bowl from the kitchen, I'm going to go over the supplies we need because it's really short. You need a paper, you need a pencil, and you need coloring tools, and that's all we need for today. So sometimes these classes where you can have you have all the supplies and you don't have to get anything from the store are really awesome. Thursday's class, you might actually need some of those supplies, and if you do, email me at info@firehouseart.org and we can figure out a time for you to come pick up. So what I'm doing is actually, if you have a bottle of white glue, you can come to the firehouse and I will pour some black acrylic paint into it so that you guys can make your black glue through that. And also I have clear file folders if you want to come pick up at the firehouse as well. So just keep that in mind. So hopefully you guys are back from grabbing a bowl to trace for your magnifying glass. I actually am not going to use anything to trace because, yeah, just because it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be circular. And I'm going to actually make it a little bit bigger than this one because I kind of want the focus to be more on the bug than on the flower. Okay, so we're going to get ready to start. Here's the center of the page. I want you guys to imagine where the center of the page is, okay? Your circle is going to encompass that dot. So I'm putting a dot right in the center of the page. I'm just guessing, so I'm just estimating where it is. I don't have to measure. It doesn't have to be exact. When I make my circle, I'm going to be putting this dot somewhere within my circle so that you know that you're taking a majority of the page for the magnifying glass. So I'm going to go ahead and I want you guys to watch first because I'm going to do it twice. First, I'm going to imagine where my circle is. I'm going to trace it with my finger. So I want it to be big enough so that I can draw my bug inside of it, okay? So you want it to be pretty big. but you still want some space to draw the flower. So you don't want to use up any of this area. So I want you guys to first imagine where your circle is going to be and trace it with your finger. Now that you have an idea of where you want it to go, you can actually use your pencil. And best things about pencil is you can always erase. Sometimes I also think that's the worst thing too, because then you're always like, ah, it's not perfect, I have to erase it and get it right. And that is my circle. So I did draw it a little bit light, so hopefully you can see it. But I am now going to go over it with my black crayon, just so you guys can see. Now this is a crayon, it's just in a plastic case, but it is not a super fancy tool, it's just a black crayon. And I just like these because your crayon won't break, and you can roll it up and you can roll it down. So I love this tool. This is one of my favorite tools. So I'm tracing my pencil line, and that is my magnifying glass. So I'm going to do another line within it, just a little bit inside. And I'm going to go ahead and color that in. That is the rim of my magnifying glass. Now, if you guys follow the Firehouse Art Center on Facebook, that's actually where you're watching this. We're doing a live stream through our Facebook page. You may have noticed that we have summer camps running now, and it's just a class session, and it's going to start July 6th, and it goes from 10 to 11:30 every day, and we're going to be doing a painting session from July 6th. So the week of July 6th is going to be a painting session of watercolor and acrylics, and then the next week is going to be watercolor and acrylics as well, and then the week after that is going to be pastel drawing, and pastels are like my favorite. I love them, and it's definitely going to be a fun week. So this is right here, is now right here. Now you'll see I told you I made it a little bit bigger, so I'm going to put it next to it so you can see. A little bit bigger because I want the focus to be the bug. Then I'm going to draw the handle. So remember they said in the definition the magnifying glass is held in a handle. So you want to figure out like kind of where that handle is going to go. And it's going to go off of the page. You can draw it with your pencil or you can draw it with your crayon. It doesn't really matter. Now if you wanted to, you can color this just all black like this one, but you can also color it brown and make it kind of like a wood grain. That's up to you. I'm going to leave it blank for right now because I haven't decided what I want to do yet. But now we are going to draw our bug. So we're going to draw our bug first, and then we're going to draw the area around it, because our bug is the most important part of this drawing because we want to get all the parts of the anatomy correct. So I'm going to move this for just a second so that you guys can focus on the anatomy, and I want you to think of what you want your bug to look like. This is your bug. It does not have to be a bug that is in real life. If you want it to be something that you can see in real life, that's totally fine, but it doesn't have to be a bug in real life. I was telling my son, who is 12, and he was like, well, that's not, you know, what kind of bug is that? I'm like, well, I don't really know. Maybe it's a lightning bug, because the bottom of his abdomen is yellow. So maybe that's his light for being a lightning bug or a firefly. And he was like, well, I don't think I've ever seen a firefly that looks like that. But I wanted him to look like that. And I also wanted him to be smiling. So that's how I drew it. And when you're the artist, you can decide how you want to draw it. So, but we're going to follow along with the body parts. So I want you guys to think about, this is your space that you're drawing your bug in. You need to get a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. Okay? So we're going to draw 3 shapes. I'm going to start with the head. So I used a circle for the head. Then I'm going to choose, do I want to do an oval for the abdomen, or do I want to do another circle? Or maybe I even want to do a square shape or a rectangle shape. It's up to you. So you figure it out what kind of shape you want to use. I'm going to do an oval. And then comes the abdomen. And then this one I'm going to do, I'm going to do maybe a square. So this is my bug. I've turned him into a shapes bug. Now, as I said before, the thorax is where the bug's legs come out of. And a bug, an insect, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 legs. So we have to make sure that we make 6 legs coming out of the thorax, which is this second section here. So 1, 2, 3. And it's 3 on each side. So 1, 2, 3. Awesome. So that is my bug. And if you want, you can add antenna. You can give him a face. I like it when he's looking at you. So I'm going to give him a smile, and I'm going to do eyes. And these ones I'm going to kind of color in like that. Okay, so this is what my bug looks like. Now I want you guys to think about, does your bug have wings or does it not? Does it have, does it have mandibles? Mine doesn't. Mine has a little smiley face because mine's a happy bug. So I want you guys to think about it. And if you look at this one, I did give my bug wings, and I wanted to have this one have wings too. So I'm going to do wings. And the wings are translucent, so you can kind of see through them. So it's okay if you can see the body underneath, because that's what a bug's wings are like. A bug's wings are translucent, and that means that you can see them. So it's not like looking through glass. You kind of, it's like a little bit opaque. So if it was transparent, you would be able to see directly through them, kind of like you see through glass. Okay, so now we've done our bug's anatomy. We're going to bring this back because now we can put the rest of the flower in. So I want you guys to start with the flower that is not underneath the magnifying glass. So this part, the center of the flower, we're going to put right here. So I want you guys to watch. I'm not going to do the whole circle because now the magnifying glass is so large. I'm just going to do part of the circle, okay? So I'm drawing with my finger the area that I'm going to make into the center of the flower, just like that, okay? And I'm going to draw it with the crayon so you guys can see. So this is the center of my flower, and the petals are going to come out of here. So I'm going to make the petals come out of here. And once again, you can do it with a pencil and then go over it with your crayon. So don't do anything in this space yet. Okay, so just watch. I'm going to do my petal there, and I'm going to do a petal that comes out here, and then this one's going to come out and it's going to go like that. Okay, now you remember, whatever is underneath the magnifying glass is going to be bigger than it is in real life. So I'm going to make this petal come out like that. And it's not going to match up. And that's okay, because what happens when it gets magnified, it distorts what you're seeing in real life because it makes it bigger. So if you look, I have these petals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then these ones are smaller than these in here. So this has been magnified by the magnifying glass. So you're actually seeing this one and this one and this one, but they're much larger. So that's what the magnifying glass is doing. Once you have your flower drawn, you can just add some leaves, however you want to do it, and We're going to put the veins on the leaves. And let's put a leaf that's coming out here. Has to be bigger though. And then that leaf comes poking out right here. And it's smaller when it comes poking out because it's been magnified. And I think we are ready to color. So I like just going over my lines with a little bit more crayon, the black, to give it more definition, and then we can get to coloring. So if you've decided that you want to make this wood grain, you would color it brown with your coloring tool, whether you're using colored pencil or marker or you're using crayon. And I'm going to bring my crayons out. And then I have some colored pencils too. So go ahead and you can color however you want. You don't have to color one certain thing before another one, but I'm going to start with his wings just because. Then I'm going to color in the bug. And I'm coloring the space underneath the wing as well, because as I said, you can see through it. So you're going to be able to see the body of the bug underneath. So I'm going to bring that closer so you guys can see. And then I'm going to do a pattern on the wings that looks like a tennis racket, or maybe like a waffle if you ever eat waffles. But that is what my bug looks like. So you really can make it as detailed as you want. If you wanted to put a different face on him and add mandibles, which are like the little pincers on his mouth. If you want to put, sometimes insects have like hairs on their legs. So they are very sensitive and they can sense changes in like what they're standing on. They can sense changes in the air and temperature, things like that. So you could add little hairs to their legs if you wanted to. If you wanted to make this just a fun bug, you could add shoes to each of the feet, but it's totally up to you. I'm going to color in his face green. And I'm going to give him orange antenna. So yes, if you are interested in doing a weekly or a daily class, it goes from 10 to 11:30. If you look on the Firehouse Facebook page, you will see the link to sign up. It's through Eventbrite, and the price includes all the supplies. So if you're in the painting summer camp, you'll get canvases, you'll get acrylic paint, you'll get watercolor, you'll get watercolor pads. So it's going to include all the supplies that you would need. So you'll get brushes, all sorts of things like that. So, and then for the pastel drawing class, you'll get you know, pencils for drawing, as well as soft pastels, the chalk pastels, and oil pastels. So I've always loved pastels. Ever since I was a kid in school, it was always my favorite medium, just because I really enjoyed the art classes that got your hands really messy. So yes, pastels do have a tendency to do that. But also I love the softness of what you could create with the pastel. So it's going to be fun to teach, and I'll make sure that it's fun to take as well. But anyway, so keep coloring. I've made this flower yellow. As you can see, I made this one red, but I'm switching it up. So we're going to do a nice bright yellow flower today. But even though we're having summer camp, which is a paid option, we're still going to offer these classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. for free because I enjoy doing these too. And we said that we would. So the summer camp option is just a different kind of thing. You get all the supplies, and the lessons are probably going to be a little bit more complex, but still doable for younger kids if they have assistance. Okay, so that's my flower. I'm going to actually make it, I guess it's a sunflower. I'm going to color the center brown. So if anyone's interested, these are Mr. Sketch scented crayons. I know I've talked about them before, but I really love them. And they smell nice too. I don't know what the brown one smells like. I was hoping it smelled like chocolate, but it doesn't. I think they all smell like flowers. Even the black one smells like flowers. Yep. But they smell good. Okay. So now my flower is done. I'm going to do my leaves. So, and then adults, if there are any adults watching, we're also having a watercolor class for adults through the Firehouse. It's called Watercolor Studio, Watercolor Fundamentals for beginners to intermediates. So we'll do all sorts of technique lessons. I'll demo them, and the participants will get to practice. And in the end, you can kind of pick a reference photo to turn into your own painting. Okay, so color in the blue here. So keep coloring, guys. We are almost done. So as you can see, it's a bug underneath a magnifying glass so that we can see it a little bit bigger. So if this was not under the magnifying glass, maybe the bug would be about this big and you wouldn't really be able to tell what his body parts are. So having that magnifying glass is really helpful in seeing the anatomy, even though it's a made-up bug. So coloring in the last parts, and it's okay if you take your time coloring and you are taking a longer time than me. That's actually good. I always say color neatly. Try not to spaghetti color, which is like spaghetti coloring, just like coloring all over. You want to color neatly and really try to make your artwork look awesome. So sometimes I rush through it, so I want you guys to know that it is okay to take your time. I know Miss Elaine sometimes goes really fast, but that's a really great thing about having this be a live stream class. You can always go back and catch up. So like you can pause it, start it again, so you don't have to go as fast as I do. I know that sometimes I go a little bit too fast and I don't want to rush you guys when you're coloring. So I'm actually going back and filling in some of my spaces where my coloring was a little bit crazy. Because this lesson is really about like brightness and color, as well as the bug's anatomy and the shapes used in making the bug. So getting it a little bit more colored in, and it should be done. And this one, I'm going to do what I said. I'm going to color this brown, so it's a wooden handle for my magnifying glass. Oh, yay! Joshua's is a lightning bug. Nice. I love lightning bugs. I don't really see that many here. I'm from the East Coast, and we had lightning bugs everywhere, and we would catch them all the time and put them in jars so that we could see them light up. So I colored it in brown, and I'm going back with my black, and I'm just kind of making little patterns inside the brown to make it look like it's made out of wood. Okay, so there you go. So this is my magnified bug on a flower. I've used lots of elements of art in this. I used line, I used shapes, circle, oval, square. I used color and form. I even used pattern inside the wings, making it look like either what you would call a tennis racket or a waffle, or just diagonal line pattern. And then I even used pattern for the wood grain. So lots of elements of art. We learned about the science of magnification as well as the anatomy of bugs. So hopefully you guys can get outside and see some bugs, and if you have a magnifying glass, maybe you can look at some things and see how the magnifying glass works in the real world, and see how things, when they're larger, you can observe them more closely. And that's it for today. So I'm going to turn this thing up. Thank you so much for creating with me today. This one was a really great lesson and very full. Like, I feel like we learned a lot, science and all sorts of stuff, as well as art. So this is the sample that I did, and this is the one that I made today. So as you can see, they're a little bit different. So art doesn't have to be imitating something. You can take inspiration from something and turn it into your own. And I always say that in art there are never any mistakes, only lessons. So you can always learn from your previous artwork, just like I did. I was like, oh man, I really wish that I had made the magnifying glass bigger. And then I did. So you can see the bug a little bit more. So thank you so much for joining me today. Remember, we're doing these free art classes every Tuesday and Thursday, live stream from 1 to 2. Well, 1 until the class is done. But we're gonna keep offering these classes all the way through the summer for free. But we do also have the summer camp offering that is paid, but then it comes with your supply list, and the classes are a little bit more complex. Those ones are Zoom, so it's definitely one-on-one, and well, not one-on-one, but like small group lessons. So you know, if you have issues or you have any questions, I can definitely help you through that. So check it out. The summer camp, the art classes for adults as well. We'll keep doing these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Next class is Suncatcher Butterflies. If you don't have black acrylic paint to mix into your white glue bottle, come by the Firehouse. If you don't have a clear file folder, you can come by and get that as well. But I think that that should be it for supplies. So for Thursday's class, you need white glue in a bottle, black acrylic paint to mix in with that, Sharpies or permanent markers, a piece of paper, and a pencil to draw your butterfly, and the clear plastic. So if you actually have vellum paper, that totally works. That's totally great. Or you could use a plastic food container, and then just kind of cut out the lid or something and use it that way. Or you can use the clear file folder, which is what I'm going to be using. So shoot me an email if you need any supplies. It's at elaine@firehouseart.org or info@firehouseart.org. If you finished your project and you want to share with me, I always love seeing these art projects, and I did just upload a whole bunch of pictures that you guys sent, and I loved them. They were so awesome. I loved all the projects that I received. But email me, elaine@firehouseart.org, with your pictures, or you can find the event on our Facebook page that is related to the class that your artwork is coming from, and you can post it on that. But I'm hoping to compile all of the artwork into that online art submissions from art classes, and yeah, check out the creativity bingo sheet as well if you haven't done that yet. So lots of things still going on at the Firehouse. We're going to be offering these virtual things just to keep everyone safe if you're not comfortable coming out yet. But you know, we're kind of also adding some in-person stuff at the gallery as well. So just visit us at our website, firehouseart.org, or check us out on Facebook and Instagram and see what's going on. Hope to see you soon, whether it's virtually or in person. And thanks again for coming. Bye, guys.